Are you a single woman who's been living her very best life? Girl, me too. Get in here. Welcome to Empowered by Her Picket Fence. I'm Stephanie, and I'm not a celebrity or a social media influencer. I'm a single woman, a single mother, and a women's empowerment blogger. And it's time for us to come to the mic and let people know what's really good with single women. And you know this show is always going to keep it short and cute. So go grab that latte because we're about to get into it. What's up, guys? Welcome back to what is my 10th episode of Empowered by Her Picket Fence. And first, I want to thank you all for listening. I appreciate you. And second, know that every week when I'm looking for topics to discuss on this show, I'm thinking about what is going to matter for single women. What are we going through? What's going to empower? What's going to inspire? What are we talking about with our girlfriends on the weekends? And what's on the news? I want to get into all of that. So that being said, hit that link in my show notes and let me know what you want to hear. Okay. So this week, we're going to be talking about who is happier, single women or married couples. Let's talk about that single life. When you're single, you are the shot caller 24 hours a day. You can make and break all the rules. There's no one to check you. Nobody to say, girl, you are crazy. You are not doing that. That is a no-go because the buck stops with you. And although it can be ultra empowering, it can also be a little daunting at times because of the level of accountability that is attached to that status. I've learned to do a lot of different things on my own just out of necessity. So let me tell you about my Home Depot story. So I remember I was ordering a patio set from Home Depot. And when it came, the boxes were huge. And I had a meltdown. I was like, oh my God, what have I done? The sheer enormity of the task in front of me really sank in. And I knew in looking at those boxes, it was going to be an all day, roll up your sleeves kind of event. And nobody was going to be able to save me because I was by myself. There was no guy to call, nobody. I hustled all the packages upstairs into my living room. It looked like it was a 1,000 piece set. And when it's in the living room, I'm exhausted. And my first thoughts are, how am I going to do this? And then my second thought was, can I do this? And then finally, I was like, forget it. I'm doing this because you know what? If I don't, I'm going to have to drag all this downstairs, relabel it, and have it picked up again. Even if it falls apart tomorrow, I'm getting this done today. So with sheer grit and determination that comes with being a single woman in New York City and knowing that the cavalry wasn't coming, I rolled up my sleeves and started going about the business of building this patio set. And I am happy to report, ladies, that after hours of sweating in the hot sun that summer, I got that set together and it is sitting on my patio to this day. And I tell you that story because when I look at that patio set, I am reminded that when you are forced to do things out of sheer necessity, it can actually empower you into doing way more than you actually thought was possible. When I first looked at that set, I was like, Stephanie, you made a mistake. There's no way you can do this on your own. But because I knew it was something I probably should do and needed to do because I really wanted that patio set, it made me flex muscles I didn't know I had. And it was a fantastic feeling. So when I look out at that patio set, I feel empowered every single time because I know I put it together myself. And I have many friends that are in relationships right now, and they always ask me, do you think I'd be okay if I was on my own? And my answer is always, of course. When your happiness is on the line, you will find a way every single time to be okay. So as a single woman, I can unequivocally say that yes, it does make me incredibly happy to know that when the chips are down, I can count on myself. That feeling is priceless. But I also know that it's not like I'm living on Fantasy Island. Being a single woman, like anything else, has its ups and downs. You know, whether you're married or single, life is not always going to be perfect. And I think that we tend to romanticize whatever situation we aren't in. So we need to start getting real and being honest about the realities on both sides of the relationship fence. And no matter where we land in life, there's always room for improvement. Sure, being on your own can be fantastic, no doubt. about. But, there are other pressures that you have to face as a single woman. There's going to be some financial pressures because there aren't two people putting money on that cable bill or that grocery bill. You're on your own. So let's get into the pros and cons of that single girl life. All right, first, one of the biggest pros, in my opinion, is the fact that you have plenty of time for distraction free self development. You can literally pour into yourself because when you're in a relationship and you're focused on we versus me, you're constantly checking to make sure that other person is happy as well. And when you're single, you don't have to worry about that. So that's definitely a pro. Another pro is that when you're not in a relationship, you're a little less disappointed because you're focusing on making yourself happy, right? I know it can sound a little pessimistic, but if you're in a situation where you're tired of being disappointed or your relationship isn't making you happy, being single, again, gives you a chance to take a step back and focus on making yourself happy. And it's important because when our needs aren't being met continually in a relationship, it's easy to feel like we're settling because we're not happy. So those 2 points actually make the case that you can be happier single, especially if you're in an unhappy or unhealthy relationship. Now let's also talk about the cons. Let's get into that. First, big con, you can feel like you are playing musical chairs and you didn't get a seat. Let's just say you really want to start a family and you want to do the whole family thing. If you're with someone and that person actually is interested in at some point having a family as well, I feel like your runway to getting what you want's a little bit shorter. If you're single, you're still looking. So not only do you have to find a relationship, but you also have to find a person that shares your values and wants to do the same things that you want to do. So I think that's like a con if you are looking to do the family thing. Another thing is that when you're single for a good amount of time, it can be a little hard to let someone in. And that's something that I struggle with because I feel like if I'm doing X, Y, and Z, where does that person fit in? So it can be hard to integrate someone into your life. So I think that's another con for sure. So what are the real keys to happiness? I would argue that the real key to happiness is not your relationship status, but the relationship that we have with ourselves. Make sure you are focusing on these 3 things and you will be good whether you are single or married or in a relationship, okay? 1, complete yourself brick by brick and pour into yourself. 2, be single when it makes sense. If you need to take a break from dating to do a reset, that's cool. If you're in a relationship that doesn't serve you, that's cool too. You can be single if it makes sense. And always be together with conditions. That's number 3. Find a relationship where you feel loved and respected. So who's happier, single women or married couples? I think single women can be happier in some ways. If it's viewed through the right lens and not experienced as a deficit, it can be. But you can also be just as happy in a supportive marriage or relationship as long as it feels right for you. And on that note, it's time for Girl, It's Time to Leave. Girl, it's time to leave when you are trying to fix someone who does not want to be fixed. That is a waste of your time because the only change that is meaningful is a change that someone actually subscribes to. So you can feel like you want your partner to be X, Y, and Z, but if he's not on the same page, that's a waste of your time. Girl, get your keys because it is time to leave. All right, guys, meet me right back here next week. And don't forget to hit that follow button and leave a review. And tell all your friends because the single girls just got the mic.